Hello everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Today's video will be on a little killer Sudoku created by RSP, and this Sudoku was posted on the Logic Masters Germany portal. It's quite an old Sudoku in the sense that it was published long back, around 2020 I think, and I gave this Sudoku a try yesterday and it was wonderful. Had some really narrow logic, but one of the best little killer Sudokus I have solved for a long time. Excellent logic, really narrow steps. So in order to appreciate the logic, I would suggest you to give this Sudoku a try. The link to solve this is in the description. Then come back and watch the video. So let's start the Sudoku now. Classic rules apply. So each row, each column and 3x3 box in the grid has digits 1 to 9, no repetitions. And then arrows indicate the sum of the digits that appear in the diagonal they point towards. For example, look at this 28 clue here pointing in the northwest direction, right? Yeah, northwest direction. So sum of these digits is equal to 28. Digits may repeat along these diagonals. So you can have, for example, let's say 5 here and a 5 here or 5 here. As long as classic rules are not violated, you may have repeating digits along the diagonals. So these are the rules, and with that we'll start the Sudoku. It's titled Rusted Wings by the author for some reason. So having given the Sudoku yesterday, I'll try to take you through the exact solve path. So I'd suggest you again to give the Sudoku a try to appreciate how much harder it is to go through the intended solve path, right? So the thing to start in the Sudoku is by noticing that this diagonal adds up to 10 and this diagonal adds up to 40, which means there must be quite a huge pressure on this cell, right? It has to be as high as possible for this 40 diagonal, and it has to be as low as possible for this 10 diagonal. So always identify these kind of cells in little killer Sudokus as they give a lot of progress. Now let's look along this direction. What is the minimum that this cell needs to take? And in order to determine that, we have to substitute these cells with the absolute maximum values. Let's put an 8, 9 here, 9 here, 9 here. So 17 and 17 plus 18 is 35, right? So which means this will be minimum 5. Even after putting the maximum digits, this has to be a minimum 5, right? Now look along the 10 diagonal. Let's start with this minimum digit here. This is minimum 1, this is minimum 1, and this is minimum 1 and 2. Now if you add all these three, you get an exact total of 10. What an amazing start to the Sudoku. Really wonderful, right? It's not easy to straight away narrow down this cell. You have to kind of draw lines and see where the Sudoku is really restricted, but this is the start to the Sudoku. Right, this has to be a 5 because the absolute minimum it needs to be for the 40 total, and it's the absolute maximum that it can be for the 10 total, right? So this is 1, this is 1, and this is 1 and 2. And for the 40 diagonal, we need to put the absolute maximum digits. So be 8 and 9. Excellent. Now, the next thing to look at is this 13 diagonal, right? Let's highlight this. Look at this 13 diagonal, and let's try putting the minimum digits, absolute minimum. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is 2 because of this one, and you have a 1 and 2 here, so this is minimum 3 and this is minimum 2, right? So if I add all these, 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12. So which means for the 13 clue, after putting the absolute minimum digits, we are already getting a total of 12. So we have exactly 1 degree of freedom, which means each of these cells here, or I should say box components, this one, this one, this one, can either be the absolute minimum value or they can be one higher than what they are, right? So here's the catch. Now look at this 2. This is the minimum value, absolute minimum value. Let me remove these. The moment I take a 2 here, what happens is, because of this 1 2 pair here, a 2 is instantly forced here. So, and this was minimum 3. Now we know that the absolute minimum that this can be is 1 plus 3, right? Because there was a 1 2 here and you can put a 3 here. So 1 plus 3 is the absolute minimum that it can take. Now it has already taken one more than that. So our degree of freedom is lost by putting a 2 here, right? But if you don't want to put a 2 there and try to put the one higher digit, you are already losing your degree of freedom here, right? So basically I'm trying to say that between these three cells, or should I say among these three cells, one degree of freedom is lost, because the absolute minimum here can be 2, but the moment you take 2 here, the degree of freedom of 1 is lost here. And if you do not want to do that, you can put a 3 here and put a 1 and 3 here, and still the degree of freedom is lost. So excellent, right? So which means the other cells would have to be absolute minimum. So this is 1, 1 2, this is 2, and you'll notice that this cell is 3 no matter what, because a 2 here forces 2 here, and this is 3, and if you put a 3 here, so this is absolute minimum again, so this will be 1 and 3. So no matter what, this cell has to be a 3. Or you can try putting 4 and see, you will no way get to 13. So this is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, and you need 3 more, right? If I put 1 here, this has to be 2, but then this cell will be without a digit, and if I put 2 here, this cell has to be a 1, which is not possible. So this is a 3, and this is 2 or a 3. Excellent. Now the next diagonal to look at is the 51 diagonal. Let's for now remove these colors, they serve their purpose. Let's use a different color along this diagonal, pink maybe, right? So you'll notice that because of this small digit here, this diagonal is under a lot of pressure because the total is huge. 51 is quite a high value. Now let's try putting out the maximum digits in each of these cells. This is maximum 9, 2, maximum 9, maximum 7, because of this 8 9 pair. This is maximum 9 and this is maximum 8, right? And now let's add up all these. 9 plus 2 plus 9 is 20, 29, 29 plus 16 is 45, 45 plus am I making a mistake? 24, 33, 35, 44. Oops, sorry. This is maximum 8 because of this 9. Now if you add all these, you can get to a 52, right? Which means unlike the 13 clue where we had 1 degree of freedom to go up, along this diagonal we have 1 degree of freedom to go down, which means the cells can either be the maximum value or 1 less than that. So yeah, this is 52, right? 8 plus 9 plus 7 is 24, 24 plus 8 is 32, 34 plus 9 43, 43 plus 9 is 52. So maximum 1 we can go down. And now here is the catch again. Just like these 3 cells, here is the catch again. Same thing. The moment I have 8 here, which is the absolute maximum for this cell, by Sudoku 8 is forced in here and this becomes 7. We knew that the maximum for these 2 cells was 9 plus 7, which is 16, and you have 8 plus 7, which is 15. So 1 degree of freedom is lost already. We have gone down. But if you do not want to do that and try to put 7 here, which means you are losing your 1 degree of freedom to go down already here. So again the same idea, among these 3 cells, 1 degree of freedom to go down is lost. Excellent logic. Which means the other cells have to be absolute maximum. So 8, 2, 9 and 9. So this is a 1. And you'll notice that this has to be a 7 no matter what, right? Just like this 3 we did here, this is a 7. Can only be 6 or a 7, but it has to be a 7. Let's say, let's play around. Let's say you put a 6 here. 18, 20, 28, 34, and you need 34, 17 from this cell, right? So which means this is 8 and this is 9. Oops. The moment you do that, this cannot be anything. Can't be there. So this is a 7 and this is a 7 or 8. If you have 7 here, this is 9. If you have 8 here, this is 8. Excellent. And let's do some Sudoku stuff now. It's nothing to explain in here. 9 goes here. 9 goes here. Okay, this 15 clue here adds up to 14 now from these two cells because of this one. So it can be a 5-9 or a 6-8. But 9 is here, so 9 cannot go here, which means this cannot be a 5. I also know that this cell, you can also eliminate an 8 from this cell. Suppose, let's say you have an 8 here. It's a quick elimination. 8 is forced here. Now we know that this must be 7 plus 9 or it must be 8 plus 8 because these add up to 16. We just now saw. Up to this you have 35 and these add up to 16. So which means if I have 8 here, 8 is forced again here and again this has to be 8, which is a contradiction. So 8 can be eliminated from this cell, right? Now we reach the point where it took me the most to see. It's a very sharp reduction. Okay, but before that, because of this 8 elimination, this cannot be a 6. And here is the break through point to the Sudoku. This cell cannot be 9. Very sharp to see, but it gives you a lot of digits. Because the moment you have 9 here, this is 6 and this is 8. And now, right, it's not possible. So this can't be a 9, a razor sharp reduction. So this has to be a 9. This has to be a 5. And now these cells are deciphered. 9, 8, and 9 here gives me a 7 here. Awesome. What a Sudoku, really. Now let's continue. Let's remove these colors here. Okay, now look at row 3 and you'll see that by classic 5 can't be here and 5 cannot be in any of these cells. So 5 is forced here. And the moment you place a 5 here, this diagonal comes under a lot of pressure. Let's try to put the maximum values here. This can be maximum 8, right? This can be maximum 8 again. This can be maximum 8 again. So add all these. There are 3 8s which give you 24 right away, and then there is a 5, so 29. So which means we have 1 degree of freedom to go down. So this can be 7 or 8, this can be 7 or 8, and this can be 7 or 8. You can't go down any further because we'll lose 2 degrees of freedom, right? That's excellent. So let's remove these cell marks. Also by Sudoku, I'll have 8 in one of these cells. And now here comes the beautiful step again. I can eliminate the 8 from this cell because if this is 8, both of these are 7s and we lose 2 degrees of freedom among these cells. 7 plus 7 is 14, 14 plus 5 is 19, 19 plus 8 is 27. So not possible to have 8 here, 8 has to be here. Okay. Also 7 by Sudoku goes here. And I also know that these add up to 13, which means these add up to 15. So if this is a 7, this is 8. And if this is 8, this is 7. So there is a 7-8 pair here, which means none of these cells can be 7 or 8. 7 and 8 have to be here. And by Sudoku, 8 is not here. 8 is in one of these cells. Interesting. And now it's time to look at this diagonal. 43 diagonal comes into play. What is the maximum that we can get here? Cannot be 7, 8, 9 because you have 7, 8, 9 in these cells. So this is maximum 6. This has to be maximum, I think 8, right? 7 and 9. So this is maximum 8. This is maximum 7. And this is maximum 6. Now let's try to add up all these. This is 22. 22 plus 7 is 29. Plus 8 is 37. 38, 44. Wow. So exactly 1 degree of freedom to go down. You have 44 after putting all the maximum cells. So we can, the cell can either be the maximum value or 1 down. So which means if this is 6, it can be 5 or a 6. If this is 8, this can be 7 or 8. And this is 7, 6 or 7. And this, if this is 6, 5 or a 6. Excellent. Now you'll see that many of these cells can be narrowed down instantly because of this 7, this is 8. And that 8 here gives me a 7 here. And I know that this is a 7-8 pair, so this is 8. And this cannot be 5, it is 6. And what do? We have a 5 here, this is 6. And now this is the solo cell along this diagonal. You can simply add that up. It has to be basically 6 because all the other cells are absolute maximum. So this is 6. Anyway, let's add 22, 30, 36, 37, and this is 6. Nice. And you will see that this diagonal is also satisfied. Okay. 5 in these two cells, so that gives 5 in one of these two cells. Excellent. And 2 along this column has to be here because of this 1 2 pair. 2 is eliminated here and 2 is eliminated here, so 2 goes here, which puts 2 in here, right? Okay, along this column the remaining cells are 4 5 7. 7 is not here, 7 is not here, so 7 goes in one of these two cells, which gives 7 here. And I have 7 here and I have 7 here, so this is not a 7. 7 has to be here. Very nice. 7 has to be here. What next? Okay, 6 by Sudoku goes here. And 9 by Sudoku has to be tucked away in these two cells. That gives 9 in here, in row 5. And now 1 in column 4 and column 6 are already placed. So 1 is in one of these two cells. So I have a 1 7 pair. Let's put that in. And 1 7 9 2 6 8. So I need 3 4 5. 3 goes in here. This would be a 4 5 pair. And let's look at row 5. So this is 1 or a 2. Awesome, right? Peach of a Sudoku, guys, really. 1 7 9 2 5 8. So 3 4 6, right? Let's put that in. 3 4 and 6. So I think it's maybe time to look at the final unresolved clue, 25. Or is it still early? There's a lot of things we can do with the Sudoku here. So 3 3 3 goes here. 8 8 8 goes here. And 8 in column 6 has to be here. Look at this cell, 1 5 7 8 and 9. So 2 3 4 6. So this is 4 or a 6. Wow. Such a delightful Sudoku. Okay, 9 can be eliminated from this cell because it's fall on this dreaded diagonal. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus minimum 4 is 22. 22 plus 3 is 25 already. And you have one more cell. This can't be a 9. This is a 9. And now that places the 9 here. Right, this is a 2 3 4 for the box. And this cell right here is 4 or a 5. And you can't have a 5 here. So it has to be a 4 and this becomes a 5 7 pair. And that's a 4. And now these add up to 8 plus 9, 17. Which means these add up to 25 minus 17, which is 8. So it's 1 plus 7 or 2 plus 6. 1 plus 7 isn't possible. So this is 2 and this is 6. Awesome Sudoku, guys. Really. So 6 6 gives a 6 here. That is not a 6. 3 4. These would be 2 3 4. Now it's time to get the Sudoku done. All the little killer clues are done. Now it's about finishing of the Sudoku. This 2 here gives a 1 in here, that gives a 1 in here, and that 2 gives a 2 in here, 7 in here, which means this is 3 and this is 4. And let's finish up this. This is a 7, this is 5 6 pair, and 6 here gives a 6 here and a 5 here. This would be 3 8, and 8 in one of these cells, 8 in one of these cells, so 8 has to go here in row 8, and that is instantly resolved. So that's an 8, which means that's an 8. Right, this 2 here finishes up this is 1, and that puts the 1 in column 1. Now these 2 cells must be 2 3 for the row, 2 6 7 9 1 5 8, so this would be 3 or a 4. And this is 4 5 8 for the column. There's no 4 here, no 5 here. This is not a 2, so 2 goes here because can be a 2. This is actually not a 3 because of this 3, so this is 2 4. And look at this row, 6 can't be here, so 6 has to be here, means it's a 5 6 pair. That's a 3 4, and you have 2 3 here, so this means there is a 4 here. Lots of subtle things even now. That's what I like about this Sudoku. There's no 4 here, no 4 here, so 4 goes here, and that puts the 4 in box 4. This is 4, and that 1 gives a 1 here, 7 here, 7 here, 5 here, finishing off row 4. This is 2, and that 2 is pushed away here because you had a 2 here. 2 7 7. Okay, 2 here gives a 4 3 2 3 4 2, and this would be 4 or a 5. This would be 3 or a 5. 1 2 5 8 7 9, so 3 4 6. This is a 3 or a 6. This is a 3 or a 4, right? 6 now goes here, which places 6 here, 5 here, 5 here, 3 here, and we're almost done. 4 here gives a 5 4 5 8 8 3 4 3 3 and 4. And with that, we completed this, and the wrappers are thrown all over the place in utter joy. So this Sudoku is finally come to an end, but what a Sudoku that was. Really amazing one. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave a like and a comment under the video, and if you really enjoy what we do, please consider becoming a patron of this channel. The link is in the description. You can also be a free member if you would like to be. So thank you. See you soon.